Twitter has flagged a number of the president's posts. They put a fact checker in there. Are they having their cake and eating it too, Ash?
I can't really comment on how smart Twitter's decision was, but what I can say legally is that Section 230 does not, right now, protect Twitter from responsibility for those fact checks. Section 230 does not protect them because Section 230 protects Twitter from being responsible for what I say. It doesn't protect them from being responsible for what they say, and the fact check was something that they said.
Okay, well then what about when Google went after the Federalist, which is a conservative magazine? They essentially had the comment section taken down off the Federalist because they found it offensive. What are your thoughts on that?
So the Federalist story is very, very tricky, and as far as I understand, it started with very bad reporting from NBC and some bad faith decisions on that side. Section 230 isn't really coming into play here either. This is contract law, because there is a contract between Google and whatever website that is that's displaying ads. You don't want, for example, your ads to be displayed against, ads about medicine being displayed against comments that might be sensitive about someone's health. So that's just a contract negotiation. Again, all of these things are being brought into Section 230 discussion, but they have nothing to do with it.
Why don't you break it down for us? It seems like none of us know what we're talking about then. What does Section 230 do? How would this come into play? Tell me everything you know about it.
Sure. I've worked on this for quite a few years now. Section 230 is a law that was passed in 1996 by a Republican and a Democrat. And what it did was get rid of the moderator's dilemma. Because up to 1996, the websites that existed, if they didn't moderate content and let all the horrible, awful content on their platform, they were not held liable by the courts. The platforms would actually hire moderators and try to create a more safe space or just, whatever, welcoming space on their platforms. They were held liable. And that created this kind of really wrong dichotomy. So Chris Cox, a Republican from California, and Ron Wyden, a Democrat from Oregon, passed this law that got rid of it. Now platforms could moderate content and make these editorial decisions and at the same time not be liable for them. What's important to remember is, first of all, this law made the internet possible as we know it, and it made America dominant. If we mess this up as we have this discussion, I'm not saying we shouldn't have this discussion, but if we mess this up, TikTok is already coming, Chinese companies are coming, and they don't have the restrictions, and they don't have, obviously, the free speech that we have. Now, what's also important to remember is that content moderation is not easy, and I don't think any platform has ever made perfect decisions. But it's also a huge scale problem. There are thousands and millions of posts going up every day, every minute, hours and hours of videos being uploaded to YouTube. If we try to hold platforms liable for every single piece of that content, or even for part of that content, they'll just stop. They either would shut down those parts of the internet, or they will just stop moderating again, and we were going to have a really, really wild, wild west online.
Tom, I imagine you're Tom Basile joining us in the conversation. I know you've been paying attention. So what is the solution here then?
Well, look, I think that we need to update laws, and because in 1996, when this was contemplated, we didn't have all of these online platforms. We didn't have YouTube and Twitter and Facebook, and it is very, very clear. It's certainly clear to any conservative or any Republican out there or any faith group that that these organizations, these businesses are curating their content, and they're curating their content very actively. I happen to view this to some degree as a little bit separate and apart from Section 230, that this is really a discrimination issue that also now needs to be addressed, because Democrats in this country believe that you should be able to sue for anything. In New York, you can sue an employer for hair discrimination and for asking about an employee's criminal record. We know now that the Supreme Court has said that transgenderism is something that can be that is included in the Civil Rights Act, but we do have active censorship and discrimination against advertisers and against people who use these platforms. And so I think that a discussion about the anti-conservative discrimination issue is something that we really should be having. And they are having their cake and eating it too. And it's fundamentally not fair and frankly hypocritical. And
that's why we're having this discussion here, to get all of these thoughts out in the open. Last comment from Kelly, then we got to go.
Well, no, I agree with Tom that this is a discussion we should be having. And I know that conservatives have been really outraged by the curation and by the discrimination. I just don't think that taking away the immunity under 230 is going to fix it. If anything, I think that it's going to restrict the speech of conservatives and even liberals and anybody else. And it's going to water down the speech and chill it on the internet. And that's what I think there should be fixes and updates and ways to work around the discrimination, but I don't think amending 230 is going to do it.
Yeah, Ash, I'll leave with your point. I got to go, but you said it could be possible contract law issues. Tom, you said discrimination issue. These are important things to keep in mind as well. Appreciate all your time here and all the thoughts on this very hot topic. Tom, Kelly, stick around. Ashkhen Kazaryan, good to see you. Thank you for your time. We'll see you again.
Thank you.
Got it.